recently you signed maybe the most dynamic fighter in all of boxing, Jaron Ennis. He's coming off a spectacular knockout against Castillo Clayton. You're the guy that took Floyd Mayweather to a different stratosphere. How do those two fighters mirror each other?
Good question. I mean, it's hard to make any comparison to Floyd Mayweather, especially this early in Jaron's career. But I think a similarity. Floyd was obviously the most dominant and skilled of his generation, and I think Jaron has the ability to do that. I mean, you don't want to speak too quickly and anoint someone before they fought the top of the top. But everything that we've seen from Jaron, shows that he's got everything it takes, from a really calm demeanor to his skills in the ring to knockout power. It's all that. Like he's a very different personality than Floyd. He's a little bit more low key. So that's different. But in terms of the boxing skills, he has the potential to be the most skilled guy in the sport, in the very near future.
How do you build a guy how do you build a guy into a pay-per-view star?
Well, it takes a little bit of luck, but I think it's a combination of things, and it takes a long-term view. And look, a lot of fighters in Boots' position would have insisted on being, on a headline card. He had a good, solid fight against Castillo Clayton, and they might have been sort of insisted on being on the top of the card. In this case, Boots and his dad and his team were willing to take a co-feature because it was on the biggest non-pay-per-view card of the year. And I think that's important. It got him out in LA in front of a different market. It put him on a huge stage. So sometimes, you have to take the long-term view. It's not all about, hey, put me in the brightest position, the most money, the biggest slot right away. We saw Canelo. Canelo was built on Floyd Mayweather's undercards for several fights, and I'm sure he would have wanted to headline much sooner than he did, but it was a business decision. So I think it's a matter of, moving him around the country, getting him to fight different places, Philly, Atlantic City, New York City, LA, Vegas. It's allowing people to see his skill and helping spread his story. He had, I think we were really happy to share his connection with Jackson Ramirez in this last fight. A young kid who's got a severe illness that Boots is connected with, is supporting. And it's, that was something he was doing before we found out. It's not something that he did because he said, oh, this is going to make me look good. But, connecting with the human being and exposing the human will make people stronger fans because they see that there's not just a fighter there's a human being with heart.
Okay. Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
You got it.
YSL Sports Media is the truth. You don't have to go nowhere to get all of your boxing news. We got it right here. No gossip, just boxing. YSL is always on topic. Hit it like this, subscribe, so you don't miss a thing when I drop it. YSL Sports Media. YSL Sports